Hey, good morning, everybody. Peter, KJ5AJB here in central Mississippi. I don't know if you've been having the same issues we have, but I'm sure you have if you've been trying to get on the air. But we're going to talk about solar flares in general that have been messing with us and the solar cycle today. And I know it's been messing with us during our nets in the mornings. Matter of fact, this morning we couldn't get on the hear anybody out there just because of the flare that occurred a couple of nights ago. So, anyways, if you ain't got your cup of coffee yet, go ahead and grab one and sit back and join me. Alrighty, solar flares. They've been messing with us pretty good the last couple of weeks, especially on our morning nets. We've had to scrub quite a few of them because of that. And I think the last time we had a actual good conversation was probably Saturday morning when we just did our morning rag chew. And probably last Friday morning, we had a fairly decent ability to talk with each other on the iBank net. But again, this morning, because of a flare over the weekend, I think it was Sunday night. I could be mistaken, but I believe that's about the time frame it was. Anyways, yeah, the last 2 mornings we've had pretty much nothing. The band been seemingly somewhat long. In other words, you can't really hear anybody close. A few distance folks come in. Yesterday morning when I turned it on, it sounded like all you could hear was the solar wind. So we're going to discuss a few things today about that and how it affects us. The first thing would be the solar cycle. Solar cycles are a pattern of increased and decreased solar activity, and they last typically about 11 years this cycle. And that's characterized by changes in the sun's magnetic field, and that influences solar phenomena, including the sunspots, solar flares, and those coronal mass ejections that hit the Earth. Give us the aurora lights. If you remember right, I think back last October they were coming back down as far as into the south here. Folks were getting pictures of the aurora borealis, and so this past week and this past weekend, a few other folks have been able to get them a little further north. That hasn't been as strong as that one was, but our current solar cycle began in 2019, and it's expected to reach its maximum. Of course, they're predicting between 2024 and 2025. I think NASA reported it reached its maximum phase in the 11-year cycle last October, and we're still in that maximum. I'll show you a couple of graphs here in a second. But anyways, the flares, we're getting solar flares off of this, which are the kind of caused by coronal mass ejections. It's a big mass of electromagnetic radiation unleashed from a sunspot on some region of the sun, and a lot of these flares tend to hit the Earth. They're in different categories of A, B, C, M, and X, based on their X-ray brightness. And for us hams, it's the M and the X class flares that really mess with us. They send high energy photons towards the Earth, and they hit our ionosphere in about 8 minutes from the time they're released. Are mainly hitting our HF frequencies from 3 to 30 megahertz. For long distance DX or close in too. It'll kill us on that. And it depends on the ionosphere, especially the F layer, to reflect our signals. But when the strong flare hits the D layer, on the sunlit side of the Earth becomes over-ionized with X-rays. And the result of that is our signals get absorbed instead of reflected. It's like, for example, shouting into a pillow, nothing gets through. So, back, I think in like an example I have here, back in 2017, they had an X9.3 flare, and they had a full-blown HF blackout, and it lasted several hours. And they said stations between North America and Europe reported complete signal loss on 20, 40, and even 80 meters. Another one to reflect upon, I got this off the history page. It's called the Carrington event. You can look that up, of 1859. So I'm going to read that to you here real quick. So on the morning of September 1st, 1859, amateur astronomer Richard Carrington ascended into the private observatory attached to his country estate outside of London. After cranking open the dome's shutter to reveal the clear blue sky, he pointed his brass telescope towards the sun and began to sketch a cluster of enormous dark spots that freckled its surface. Suddenly, Carrington spotted what he described as two patches of intensely bright and white light erupting from the sunspots. 5 minutes later, the fireballs vanished, but within hours, their impact would be felt across the globe. That night, the telegraph communications around the world began to fail. There were reports of sparks showering from the telegraph machines, shocking the operators and setting papers ablaze all over the planet. Colorful auroras illuminated the nighttime skies, glowing so brightly that birds began to chirp and laborers started their daily chores, believing the sun had been rising. Some thought the end of the world was at hand, but Carrington's naked eyes had spotted the true cause of the bizarre happenings, a massive solar flare with the energy of 10 billion atomic bombs. The flare spewed electrified gas and subatomic particles towards Earth, and the resulting geomagnetic storm, dubbed the Carrington event, was the largest on record to have struck the planet. So you can see that is pretty devastating. It carries on to say many telegraph lines across North America were rendered inoperable on the night of August 28th as the first two successive solar storms struck. E.W. Culligan, a telegraph manager in Pittsburgh, reported that the resulting currents flowing through the wires were so powerful that the platinum contacts were in danger of melting, and streams of fire were pouring forth from the circuits. In Washington, D.C., telegraph operator Frederick W. Royce was severely shocked as his forehead grazed a ground wire. According to the witness, an arc of fire jumped from Royce's head to the telegraphic equipment, and some telegraph stations that used chemicals to mark sheets reported powerful surges caused the telegraph paper to combust. So that's pretty wild. That's a pretty big storm there. So I'm going to switch you over now to the little chart of what I've got for our current cycle. So this is it here. It's on the NOAA Space and Weather Prediction Center. Just look up swpc.noaa.gov on the internet and you can see this chart yourself. But we are currently right in about December, January, February, March, April, May. We'll call it May. So we're currently right about here now. May of 2025 is the last update on this guy here. See if I can't zoom it in. So anyways, this is currently where we're at. And you can see it's going to start tapering down as we proceed on through the years as it goes. Let's see, this should start tapering down probably in the middle of summer here. It'll still be kind of high. And then by 2029, we'll be at the solar minimum of the cycle. So it looks like we still got a few more possible events that are going to hit us here. And this has been mainly what's been killing us the last couple of weeks. So this is the article on NASA's website on the NOAA. It's science.nasa.gov. It talks about the maximum phase in 11-year cycle, but they published this back in October of 2024. And if you go to the History Channel, actually both of these guys, NASA and the History Channel, have YouTube videos, a lot of information you can get from that. They have one on YouTube, What is a Solar Maximum? A week of rapid fire solar flares. That was on May 9th of 2024. They published that one. They've got little charts on there for different solar progression. So there's a lot of information out there on if you just get out there and do a search on the solar cycle, or solar flares in general, you can get a lot of information from that. So it's been kind of killing us on the net. That's the main thing recently. So we've had to cancel quite a few. The only other thing I can say about this event, I hope the information helps you out. It's helped me out to deep dive into it a little more. I knew about solar flares in general affecting how it affected stuff, but I didn't know about the solar cycle itself. And I gained a lot of information from that. And as far as the channel goes, it's going pretty good. We've hit, I don't know if you can see my little sign behind me, 333 subscribers so far. And while we're at it, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and hey, share it with your buddies. I know 77% of the viewers I get just flick through the channels. Maybe 30% of you subscribe to the channel. So, I mean, it won't hurt you any to subscribe. You can hit it. If you like the content, you can keep with it. If not, you can unsubscribe later. But I hope you do get some good information out of this. And I hope you enjoyed what I've been able to get to you today. So anyways, this is Peter, KJ5AJB, and we're going to be signing off in 73s, guys.